Hello you guys, today we're going to check out the Fender Mustang LTX50. This is their new digital modeling amp, and I have to say it looks like a modern Princ Reverb with the size and the faceplate and the black grill cloth and everything. I think it looks super cool. So what I want to do today is check out some of the presets that are on the amp. I really want to show you guys some of my favorite ones. And then we're going to kind of deep dive a little bit with the Fender app that they have that you can kind of deep dive and do some crazy editing and whatnot. Just give you guys a rundown of what that is, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts at the end of the video, so stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get right into it. Alright you guys, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like when you connect the amp to an iPad or a computer or a phone. This is a screen you'll see once you're connected, and I have the 65 Princ Reverb on my amp, and of course anything I do here, it integrates over here as well. So anything I do with the iPad works on the amp and so forth. Now a really cool thing I want you guys to note is the master, it works with obviously the amp and the volume. When you have a connected DI such as I do right now, I have it connected to my audio interface going into my computer. This volume is really what dictates the audio that goes into the DI. The master serves for you just to listen to the amp. It does not affect the signal that goes into the DI whatsoever. So this would be really cool if you wanted to do a DI recording but you wanted to listen to it, or maybe you wanted to silently record and not have the amp volume playing. Great way of doing it. You can control that volume via the master, control the signal volume to the interface via the volume right here. But this is what I have loaded right now, and this is a stock preset. And yes, it is a little orange because I had to turn that volume down, as I said, to not blow the interface, because it is a little loud, so you do have to control that volume a bit into your interface so you don't clip. But this is the clean tone that naturally presets for the 65 Princ Reverb. Have a listen. So that is the DI sound for the Princ Reverb. And let's look at the screen again here. As you can see, you have stomp, modulation, delay, and reverb. And then you have your amp in the middle for the signal chain. And it's really cool because you can select a bunch of different stomps. You have overdrive, green box, all of these, different types of overdrives that maybe some of you are familiar with, an EQ, envelope filter, and so forth. And I'm not going to go through all of these different sounds. I just wanted to show you what you can do. You have your chorus, your flanger, your phaser, vibratone, tremolo, and harmonic tremolo, which is one of my favorite sounds. Listen to this. And of course, you can change the speed, the shape, the mode, the intensity. So if I wanted it even slower, then, I could turn it down here. I could scroll down on the iPad, turn down that rate. Turn it up more. Bypass the effect altogether. And now the cool thing is that with your amp, of course, the EQ, you see it here. If I wanted a little more treble, then I would click on treble, and maybe if I wanted to be more precise, I could hit that plus or minus sign, or I could just turn the knob on the amp. And it's just very well integrated, in my opinion. Makes it very easy to just go back and forth. Your delays, you have mono delay, tape delay, reverse delay, and whatever this delay is. Pretty decent. And there's different amps as well. If I wanted to replace this with, say, maybe like a Vox, you have your Tweed amps on the left here. But let's say I wanted to do like a Vox amp, right? Here's your British 60s amp. And you get all these cool different things here. When you go to amp settings, you even have a bright switch, a cut, which is kind of like the cut for the Vox. Really pretty interesting. Not all of these amps have that setting, but this is trying to be very accurate to like a Vox style amp. So that's really neat. And yes, you have many different amps to choose from, and you can really spend some time dialing in some tones here. You have some DI2 preamps and even an acoustic simulator and whatnot. It's actually very cool, very fun, especially for beginners who are trying to find their sound. I really like this. So let me show you how, if you don't want to mess with any of this, you can still do everything here on the screen. Let me give you a quick little visual of that. So when you're selecting through different amps, of course, this will change. You'll see it here. But let's say I wanted to maybe edit something from here. Maybe I want to turn that bass a little down. It does turn orange, and that means you've edited your preset. And if you want, and it says unsave. So if you wanted to save this preset after you've changed all of your knobs, then you could just hit save here. on the right, and then you can see save on the current preset or save as, give it a different name, clear it, or do whatever you want to do. When you hit back, and let's say I've made some tweaks, but I just want to bring back that same 65 Princ Reverb preset, you could just turn it to the next, bring it back, and you got the stock sound again. And of course, on the menu setting, you can do a lot of different things. You can change the output of this amp, so you could change it to a 50 watt, a 12, a 6, or a half watt. And if you go back, you will see a tuner, which works pretty decent. Let me just hit a string really quick. And it picks up a sharp E. Maybe I'm a little sharp, but you could tune it. And of course it tells you how much you're off by. And once you get a little closer, it turns green. So that's really useful. It also cuts the signal when you do that, so it's very quiet. You don't hear a thing. And back on the menu, you can set up the Bluetooth, because of course you do have auxiliary and headphone jack, but you can also do Bluetooth and play some backing tracks or whatnot. Makes it really fun. You got your presets, your levels, a foot switch, and restore if you want to go back to stock. So you really can just do everything on the menu. The only thing that I didn't show you is when you're doing pedals like this, you can change the modulation, you can add one, a flanger, of course. Now, the only thing I have not figured out, and maybe some of you guys could kind of tell me how to do this, when you're doing it like this, there's no real way of turning off the preset unless you go into like the level and turn it all the way down or change the rate. When you're using your iPad or iPhone or laptop, you're able to obviously turn that off a lot easier, just on and off. But on here, I haven't figured that out. But still, nevertheless, you can just leave it on. And a lot of times that is kind of what you're gonna do anyways. I just wish it would be a lot easier to just turn off the effects on here instead of having to scroll. But this is really nice and intuitive. You can do a lot just on here. You don't need to connect to the app after all. You can do everything on here. All right, you guys, so what did you think of the Fender Mustang LTX50? This is my take on the amp, and here goes. So what I think about this amp, especially if you're a beginner, this is a perfect amp. Now, if you're a beginner, you're probably looking at this and maybe a BOSS Katana and a few other options out there. And I really want to focus on how this compares to a BOSS Katana, because a BOSS Katana is a really great sounding amp, kinda. I'm a little biased towards not liking the tone too much, but you can really get some great sounds out of it if you know what you're doing. The problem I have with the BOSS Katana compared to an amp like this is that as a beginner, when you're looking at the menu for, the top of the amp, it's a little confusing to know what effects you have on, what amp you have on, all of that stuff. You kind of just have to know what the colors mean and everything. And for some people, it may not be that bad, but I found it to be a little counterintuitive for a beginner. I think for a beginner, it should be super simple. You should just turn a knob and know exactly what it is. There should be a label of some kind to let you know. And this amp, what I really like about that screen and that little knob is that you turn it, it tells you what you're doing, what you're changing. It's very clear and easy to use, and that I think is very special for a beginner, because for beginners, the main thing is that you want to be creative. You want to get into the hobby. You want to stick around. You want to be excited to play the gear. And when it's too complicated, you don't want to play. And that's the problem here. I felt with the BOSS Katana, even though I'm already been playing for many, many years, I thought about the beginner, because a BOSS Katana is priced for a beginner. And it seems just a little too complex, I think. Now, if you're an advanced player, yes, there's a lot of things to love about the BOSS Katana. And for this amp, I would say the same thing. For an advanced player, you can deep dive into that app, really get that creativity going. You could change different amps, especially if you're already familiar with Vox amps, with Orange amps, with Marshalls, and all the other amps that's on the app that you can change. I think it's really cool, and you can save all these presets and share it with other people online. That's super fun. I mean, that's cool. And I also think it's a great studio tool. If you record at home, you can record DI. The DI sounds are actually pretty decent, if you ask me. You can really dial things up and get it really good, and it can sound very convincing. If you have Logic Pro, some of the amps that are on there for free, I would say these amps that are on this Fender amp are just a little bit better than what you have on like GarageBand or Logic. So that gets a thumbs up from me. You can really do some really fun stuff with this, and I like that. Fender was very creative with that little thing. And I know that they've had that for previous Mustangs, but I feel like this one right here, it looks cool, it sounds cool, and it feels very easy to use. And that gets a thumbs up for me, 2 thumbs up, because I feel like they thought about the beginner, they thought about the intermediate and the advanced player who maybe just wants an amp to play with at home that's not a super loud tube amp that some of us have, as I have behind me. So really cool amp. I really like the aesthetics too. It may not feel as sturdy as an old vintage or even a modern tube amp. Yes, it is plastic on the front, and yes, the knobs feel a little cheap, but it works and it sounds great, and it's not priced too expensive, and it's light, it's 20 pounds, you can carry it with one hand, and it's really useful. You got a treble, a mid, a bass, a gain, a volume, a master volume knob, and then the other knob with the screen. An onboard tuner, you have the auxiliary, the headphones, and you have Bluetooth, which if you have the newer BOSS Katana, you have to buy another device to get the Bluetooth, which I think is crazy. Why would you have to do that? But with this amp, it comes with it already. So this is, for me, great amp for a beginner. This is a great amp. Check it out. See if your local guitar center or mom and pop shop have it. Test it out. See what you think. Think you can really get some great sounds out of it. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Catch you then.